The Ducks are in Buffalo tonight to take on the Sabres at First Niagara Center. They will play again in 7 days in Anaheim. But it's time for tonight's Keys to the Game. It's brought to you by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. With those, we go to Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Bob, how do you not look past a team that hasn't won at home? What's the message?
It's, you got to be prepared, because they're a desperate hockey team. They want to turn things around here, and if we're not ready to go, they're going to jump on us early. So we need a good start, put them down right away, and then hopefully carry on for 60 minutes.
Bob, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
John?
Thank you, Lisa. The second longest single-season winless streak in this building for the Sabres coming into tonight. 0-7-1 thus far. The referees are Chris Rooney and Francois Saint-Laurent. The linesmen are Scott Cherney and Steve Miller.
A couple of stats that were really standing out for Bruce Boudreau, and one was the fact that they hadn't won a home game. The second one, that the Sabres have only scored the first goal of a game once this entire season. Those are the types of numbers that scare head coaches.
Yeah, he was quite apprehensive, I would say, this morning when the subject of the Sabres came up. Long shot from the points wide of the Anaheim goal from Mark Pezic, and a bouncing puck that Fowler can't clear out of the zone as Steve Ott comes up with it. Marcus Foligno gives it back to him, but it was swatted away by Fowler. Corey Trop down low to get it into the slot for Foligno, who drops it back. Ehrhoff across for Pezic, right back. Christian Ehrhoff will throw it to the net. That's blocked by Perry.
Yeah, Perry took a high stick earlier in this shift, and he was calling or looking at the referee, hoping to get some kind of a penalty call.
Both teams get their first change of the game as Allen loses it to Ennis at the blue line. The return pass to Ennis broken up by Smith-Pelly, who came off the Anaheim bench. Again, the Sabres owning the puck as it's thrown to the corner by Zadorov, one of the three teenagers in the lineup tonight for Buffalo. Now he has to go back defensively as he's playing with Tyler Myers. There's some beef on this defensive pairing, Brian. Myers is a big boy in his own right, about 6'7". And Zadorov was easy to notice this morning with his presence on the ice as Enroth makes his first save of the hockey game.
John, we were wondering what happened with Corey Perry. He appeared to get clipped by a high stick. Let's go back to it. Watch Cam Fowler, 4 for the Ducks. And it's actually the stick of his teammate Fowler as Fowler is battling along the boards with Trop. It gets Corey Perry up in the face, and that hit him right up by the eye. So hopefully he's going to be okay.
Ducks with an offensive zone face-off win, and down low Bonino and Palmieri nearly collide behind the goal. Kyle Palmieri works, and Bonino takes a high hit from Myers as he cycles it back down low and then goes behind the net to get it back. Rough ride for Bonino as he's taken shots from both of these big defensemen as Zadorov knocked him down. They get it to the line. Boschma's shot was just wide, and Myers with the long reach just one-hands it to the corner. Cogliano spins it up the boards, and Zadorov bounces it past the point coverage of Boschma, but good work by Lindholm, who hinged over to get to the loose puck.
Boy, that's a skater, isn't he? I mean, that's the most impressive thing about Hampus Lindholm, the way he gets those feet moving, gets the head up. And he's really been impressive with the ability to make that 10, 15-foot pass to his teammates who have speed through the neutral zone. That gets the Ducks transition game going. Talking with Francois Beauchemin about Lindholm, he just spoke glowingly about how much the youngster is absorbing so much from game to game. He sees improvement almost nightly.
Still looking for his first NHL goal is Hampus, but he's among the rookie leaders in shots on goal, so he's getting his shot through from the point. And sometimes that can be a tall order for a rookie defenseman in this league. Peter Holland's shot missing the mark, but Vatanen able to get back to it. And he plays catch with his defense partner, Brian Allen. Vatanen right through the middle and offside are the Ducks. We talked at the top of the show, Brian, about the troubles the Sabres have had this season. Head coach Ron Ralston and his Charges have many troubles.
Yeah, 2-12-1, the worst start in team history, and not a good record here, obviously, at home. I thought it was a little bit interesting earlier today when the Sabres waived Patrick Coletta after he was just come back from a 10-game suspension. And as soon as he was eligible to play, and he would have been able to play in tonight's game, they put him on waivers earlier today. He's not dressed for tonight's game.
In terms of the collective bargaining agreement, a player on waivers, he's not eligible to play. And now we're going to get a penalty as Beauchemin was tangled with Ott in the neutral zone. And as the pass came up the boards, he gave Ott a shove. He fell to his knees, went into the boards, and a penalty will go against the Anaheim defenseman.
Yeah, and I think the look on Bolsheman's face speaks volumes. To cross-checking penalty against him. Steve Ott is a very antagonistic player to play against, and there was always a history between he and the Ducks when Ott was a member of the Dallas Stars. Now he's the captain of Buffalo.
Yeah, Ott's one of those guys too, Brian, when you look at Buffalo and what they're doing, and the other being Ryan Miller, who's in the final year of his contract, players that might get something for this club on the open market as they move forward. I know it's awful early in the year to look at it, but as you said in the open, this team's in full rebuild mode as they go on the power play for the first time tonight, and they have struggled on the power play this season, just over 10%. Pezic moves up the right boards with it. Former first-round draft pick now retreats to the line as he hands it off to Ennis. Tyler Ennis gives it to Matt Molson. Molson leads the league in power play goals, however, so he's a nice addition to a struggling extra man unit.
He does all his work down low, down below the goal lines and below the hash marks.
Long shot from Ehrhoff off of Hiller, came back to him off the end dasher. Fowler reversing it back. Allen chops it up the boards, but Ehrhoff will hold it in. Ehrhoff winds, one-timer blocked on the way by Allen. It comes right back to him. He'll hand it off, and it's Pezic who has his shot blocked. And the carom this time to Winnick, who ices.
Good job by the penalty-killing forwards up top. They were in the shooting lanes. Made it tough for the Sabres point men to get those pucks through.
40 seconds remains in the penalty to Beauchemin. And Myers headmans up the far side. Billy Mano brings it in, and puck deflected out of play with 35 seconds remaining in the man advantage.
There's a good look at Ville Leino, signed as an unrestricted free agent to a 6-year deal back in 2011. He's had so many injury problems. Played only 8 games last year. Hip, upper body injuries.
Missed 11 games this season, as you mentioned, Brian, and now finds himself on the 4th line for this team. I mean, you don't give 6-year contracts to guys you expect to put on your 4th line.
No, they were expecting at least 25 goals a season from him. It just hasn't materialized.
Ott drops it back for Myers, and across it comes. Ristolainen, another of the teenagers with a wrist shot that just missed. Good traffic in front of Hiller, but the rebound taken off the end boards and cleared by Lindholm. Getzlaf steps into Myers and takes a puck away in the neutral zone. The penalty is over, and the Ducks full strength. That's
a good penalty kill to start the game for the Ducks. Buffalo is a team that has had trouble this season. That should be icing, but I don't think the linesman indicated he was going to make the call, so Jonas Hiller went out and made a play on the puck.
Broken stick for one of the Sabres. And it's Zadorov who goes back to the bench to get a new one. And now the puck offside at the blue line, so the faceoff will come back to neutral ice.
Not a lot of flow in this game, not a lot of excitement in this building right now. I think the fans are kind of very disenchanted with the home squad, and boy, they're sitting on their hands tonight. It is like a church in here, John.
Good hockey city, Buffalo. Sabres have not made the playoffs since the 2010-2011 season. And unless something drastically changes here this season, the fans are somewhat resigned to a long season here along the shores of Lake Erie. Talinder chasing deep in his own zone, hit hard by Perreault, and loses the puck to him. Keeps it alive for Devontae Smith-Pelly. 4 points in 5 games for Smith-Pelly since his recall from Norfolk of the American League. And now Perreault digs it free as he got some help from Penner. Tries to give it back to Penner, and it deflects to the line, held in. Vatanen across to Allen. His wrist shot is a pass, and it goes behind Perreault in the slot. Stretched ahead. Here's Drew Stafford trying to get in. And Hiller makes the save. He's not sure where it is. I believe it's underneath the Anaheim netminder, and he gets the whistle.
A big stop by Jonas Hiller. Stafford with a partial break, and he squeezes that arm up against the body and makes a big stop. Well, big stop by Jonas Hiller, and we're going to chalk this one up to solid haberdashery on his part as we roll this one forward. Drew Stafford's in alone. Watch where this puck goes. It's through Hiller. It actually gets caught up in his jersey. Otherwise, it's in the back of the net. And that falls into the category, John, of really clean living for Jonas Hiller.
Give me the extra large sweater, please.
With a lot of elastic apparently built into it as well.
Well, Stafford just a couple of years removed from a 31-goal campaign. He knows how to score goals. He's had 20 goals 3 times in his career. Nice job. Well, backhand, forehand, releasing on that puck and getting across the crease, but Hiller and his jersey keep us scoreless. And a bouncing puck comes right back to Hiller, and he finds it in time to get the whistle with players strewn all over the slot. This season, when the Ducks score 5 goals or more, fans, Hooters gives you 5 free wings. Print the coupon from the comfort of your own home and head to Hooters, your destination for free wings in SoCal.
A little bit of a sluggish start here for the Ducks. This point shot gets through, kind of bounces crazily, and there's the rebound. Boschman fighting down low with McCormick, and eventually Hiller able to hop on the loose puck.
Cody Hodgson, who centers the top line for the Sabres, against Peter Holland on the draw, and the Ducks control. Holland stretches it ahead. Palmieri tries to return it, but it's broken up, and transition for the Sabres. Hodgson, 10 points on the young season, trying to fight through Ben Lovejoy. His pass back from Olsen, broken up by Holland. And now Palmieri finally gets the handle into the Buffalo zone, has his shot deflected. I think that might have hit Edom on the way.
This is a quick line that Boudreau has opposing the Sabres top line with Palmieri and Edom.
Edom busts right back into the Buffalo zone, tries to cut to the net, gets a backhander away, and Enroth able to cover up.
Emerson Edom has great outside speed, but he stopped moving in the neutral zone, and that's something that young players have to learn. You can stop and start in the American League, especially when you have the kind of first step that Edom has. But there he was stationary in the neutral zone, so even does not allow him to use that terrific speed of his.
Ducks win the draw as Perreault gets it back. Botman can't find a shooting lane and throws it into the slot on the backhand. Picked off by Larson, and back come the Sabres again. Able to split the D was Corey Trop. Trop's first game of the season, he broke his jaw in a preseason fight and just activated for tonight's game.
We talked to him this morning. He's still got all the hardware in, and he's very excited to be back in the lineup. He's a high-energy player. He's going to really help them, John.
He's been a hard-luck guy, too.
Yeah.
We mentioned him in the pregame show. I know he was limited to 6 games last year coming off ACL surgery. And all of those games were at the American League level with Rochester. A year prior, he had gotten over 30 games with the big club. Up the wall, Perreault comes up with it and throws it cross ice. Smith-Pelly gets center red and gets it deep. The Ducks will roll a change.
You know, just looking at Anaheim here in the early going, have not got the legs quite moving just yet. And a couple of times, the Sabres have been able to zip right up the middle of the Ducks' defense. And they've been dangerous on the rush.
And it's not an excuse in any way, Brian, but earlier in the year, Bruce Boudreau talked about the energy at Honda Center and how he thought it really helped his team get off to some good starts. And you've commented, it is pretty quiet in this building here. There is not a ton of energy at First Niagara Center here tonight, and maybe it plays a little bit of a role as well in the players' ability to get motivated and get into a hockey game.
Well, I think it's more fatigue. The thing that's concerning to me is that you wonder at some point on this trip when the Ducks are going to hit a little bit of a wall. And we've seen them have bad periods on this trip and then bounce right back and play great the last couple of periods. But a lot of stationary players I'm noticing here in the first part of this first period.
McCormick feeds it into the Anaheim zone, swatted right back by Brian Allen. Allen's really picked up his physical play on this trip. And the Ducks have started blocking a lot of shots. That's Brian Allen's game as well. Francois Boschman actually moving into the top 10 in the league in blocked shots in tonight's action. Speaking of blocked shots, Allen's bid comes right back to him, and he gets it deep on the second effort. Winnick digs it off the wall back to Allen. Wrist shot got through. I don't know if Enroth ever saw it.
You know what? And Peter Holland was in the vicinity, went for the tip, just couldn't make contact with the stick.
Allen turns back up ice with it from out of his own zone, holds it, gains center red, and throws it across. Smith-Pelly gets it off his skate and rims it around. Holland tracking it to the near side. Penner comes over and seals it off, if only momentarily. Now Hodgson and Ennis into the Anaheim zone. Cody Hodgson for Tyler Ennis, who cycles back to the corner, and Matt Molson has it. Molson, one-time Los Angeles King as well as an Islander. Now it's Talinder on the left boards. He has his bid blocked, and Perreault turns it into the middle of the ice. Boschema trying to angle it ahead for Penner, and it pinballs all over the place before Smith-Pelly gets it into the Buffalo zone. Talinder in his second tour of duty here in Buffalo. Lost it around the boards. Perreault gets it back out. Boschema slides it across. Lindholm lets it go. It lays in front of Enroth and unable to get to it with Smith-Pelly.
Yeah, great job by the goaltender. Enroth, bang, bang play.
Ristolainen, I think, had Smith-Pelly tied up a little bit there as well, and there was a little bit of a size advantage to the young Buffalo defenseman.
Ducks still looking for the first goal from their defense this season, and Lindholm came pretty darn close there. There was traffic in front of the goaltender when he released that shot. Did a good job moving that puck laterally along the line to open up a passing or shooting lane.
Long time between whistles. 8:20 to go in a scoreless first period in Buffalo. Daniel Winnick to the near boards, able to get it deep into the Buffalo zone, and Andrew Cogliano in after it. Taps it along. Bonino gets to it behind the net, but can't center for Winnick. Winnick, though, tracks it to the far boards and loosens it up for Bonino. He'll play it back to the point. Lovejoy across for Fowler. And Fowler into the middle. And Cogliano steered it wide. Fowler's picked up his game of late, +3 in the last 2 games. He drew an assist in the shootout loss in Boston on Thursday night. He wanders back to get a loose puck as both teams go for changes. Cam actually played for Buffalo head coach Ron Ralston as part of the U.S. program when he was with the under-17 team and the under-18 team. A little bit of a reunion here of sorts. Kyle Palmieri also played for Ralston in his years as part of the U.S. developmental program. Maroon down low, trying to cycle it. It's turned over in the high slot, and it comes back to Allen from Getzlaf. His shot hit Perry in front. Ricochets all the way out. Ott taps it loose. Foligno clears.
Best shift of the game for the Ducks. Big line, John. They get the puck down. They start cycling. They have a couple of decent scoring opportunities. Corey Perry trying to slide that puck cross ice right onto the doorstep was a nice defensive play for the Sabres.
Trop plays it across. Coming late is Zadorov, who diagonally dumps to the near corner. Lindholm uses the end boards to play it across. Boschema overskates it and then tries to lead it ahead for Edom. Gets a second opportunity, and it goes through to Linder. He and Ristolainen back in their own zone. Rasmus Ristolainen, native of Finland. He's 19 years of age. Here's McCormick getting it back to him at the right point. Little tip pass in front. Loose. McCormick got to it before Hiller could. And it comes back to the near side. Ristolainen steps up.
He's a big kid, Ristolainen, and we saw this morning he can really shoot the puck.
Stafford plays it along the end boards for Billy Leno. He switches directions a couple of times. The former Red Wing and Flyer now lays it back. Talinder takes a shot. That's blocked by Boschema to the corner. And he'll go and get it. He's got a little space, but a long shift. The Ducks probably could use a change, at least a defensive change, as Holland leads it ahead. Wide open is Edom in front, and unable to slide it over was Palmieri.
Boy, that was a defensive miscue. The Sabres created a lane for the Ducks, and Anaheim unable to exploit it.
Down to 5.5 to go in the opening period. Shots are 5 each for the Sabres and Ducks, no score. Here's a turnover. Fowler kept it in. His little pass went off a skate, and Lovejoy lobs it back in. Ben Lovejoy also played for Ron Ralston, the current Buffalo coach. He was an assistant coach at Boston College the 1 year that Lovejoy played there. Lovejoy deflects the stretch pass, and Hodgson runs it down in the Anaheim zone. Comes loose to Molson, and a point-blank save by Hiller.
Matt Molson is another one of those players where the puck just seems to follow him around at times. And he always goes. He's so consistent about going to the front of the net. And here he is again, just kind of following up the play. Point blank bid for him. He actually got a crack at the rebound as well. He's not the prettiest player, but John, he has sure figured out how to be an offensive guy in this league. He's done it very consistently the last 4 years for the Islanders.
Cornell guy.
Cornell Big Red, and he was not an enormous scorer in college. Cornell, a very defensive-minded program. He
was undrafted.
Yeah, never freed up Matt Molson.
He made a real name for himself. 3-time 30-goal scorer at the NHL level. Long shot from a friendly fire. That one looked like it hit Johan Larsson. Now it's Ehrhoff with a drive that comes all the way back to him. He'll walk right down to the top of the slot and drift it over top of the net. Fowler without a stick. He broke his on the initial block, and he'll get a break as Anaheim clears. No icing, forcing Enroth to play the puck.
Yeah, that is a huge, huge break for the Ducks. Girgensons had control of that puck. The Ducks look vulnerable, and he just iced it himself.
He's the other 19-year-old. We haven't talked a lot about Zemgus Girgensons, the Latvian native. And a first-round pick from 2012 and a couple from 2013 dressed tonight for the Sabres. Here's Getzlaf. Oh, the seas part for him, and he just walks to the front of the net, and a fat rebound that Vatanen is able to collect. Hooks it down low now as Getzlaf and Perry start the cycle. Maroon digs it free for Allen. Pass back for Maroon off his stick. Perry got to it and then gets it back off the side of the goal. Swings it around. Getzlaf got a stick on it. Allen activates from the point, and he'll join the play below the goal line. Tries to center, went off the paddle of the stick of Enroth. Now he has to hustle back defensively. Sabres the other way as Myers joins the rush, and his pass intended for Trop, picked off by Getzlaf. 3-on-2 are the Ducks. Look, Lindholm joined the rush. Perry cuts to the middle of the ice across the slot. Fires! And that one ended up on the end boards. Bolshema keeps it alive and shovels it down low. Maroon lets it come through for Perry. Talinder takes him down, and a penalty coming up to Buffalo here. So 2:59 to go in a scoreless first. The Ducks on the power play when we come back. It's time for Getting Things Done, brought to you by YP.com, the new way to do.
We were talking about this young Sabres defense. Watch Rasmus Ristolainen here. He turned 19 last week. Stop it here. This is a 3-on-2 rush now for Anaheim. And Ristolainen decides to come across and pressure the middle of the ice. That's a big mistake. Roll it forward, guys, and you're going to see that he leaves Emerson Edom just absolutely wide open. Unfortunately, Palmieri can't execute on the pass. But it's tough when you're a 19-year-old in the National Hockey League and you're learning about this game and you're learning on the job. It's a tough thing.
Sammy Vatanen with a shot pass as the Ducks begin their first power play of the night. Talinder sitting for hooking. Puck in the feet of Palmieri, and over comes Smith-Pelly to dig it free. Palmieri able to get it across. Vatanen winds and fires a one-timer wide. Palmieri wanted to get it back to him again, but two Buffalo penalty killers over to converge upon him. The Sabres, middle of the pack on the penalty kill this year, 15th in the league. One area where they have not lagged as far behind as they have in so many others. Vatanen slides it across. Palmieri right back, and too hot to handle. That'll clear the zone.
One of the big problems they have had on their penalty kill is winning faceoffs. They just haven't been able to win enough of them. They've allowed teams to get set up.
They give up a ton of shots. Nobody has fewer shots on goal per game than do the Sabres, and they give up the third most shots. In fact, they've already had 5 games out of the 15 they played where they've surrendered 40 shots or more. One of those was Jonas Enroth's lone win of the season in his last outing. And he made 44 saves in a 3-1 win against the Florida Panthers.
John, I look out there, I see Girgensons on the penalty kill. I see Zadorov on the penalty kill. So it's not like Ralston is not allowing these kids to play important minutes.
Another penalty coming up to the Sabres here. An interference call, I think, is going to go against Johan Larsson as he took Perreault down on the near boards. It's going to be Zadorov, excuse me. No, Myers. All the big guys, they all look the same.
Buffalo 57, 2 minutes.
They're huge.
Yeah, I don't agree with this call. It's a split second late, but Matthew Perreault had just had the puck when he got absolutely eliminated by Tyler Myers, and that's a tough call to put a team down 2 men on a power play opportunity here for Anaheim.
Myers is 6'8", Ristolainen is 6'4", and Zadorov is 6'5". 28 seconds of a 2-man advantage for the Ducks as the Sabres inadvertently clear out a play. No penalty here, though.
That was a big face-off win. Huge face-off win for Buffalo. And they were able to get the clear. That was Ott that pulled it back.
He's always been a good face-off man.
You know what? He has, John. And, he's a player that, because he is unrestricted at the end of the year, if the Sabres do decide to move him, he'd be a valuable pickup for a number of teams, I think.
Yeah. Well, if they clear the deck, and many think they will, a guy like Ryan Miller, who's backing up tonight, would have a lot of value, as would a guy like Ott, maybe a Drew Stafford, a Matt Molson, of course. All those guys in the last year, their deals, with the exception of Stafford, who has 2 years left. Now under a minute to play in the period, and the first penalty is over to Talinder. Ducks work it down low. Fowler tried to jump into the slot, and Talinder out of the box lifts his stick from behind. Tiller tries to stretch it, and Perry tried to stay on side, but he couldn't. Down to 44 seconds in the period.
It starts with a face-off, 5-on-3 power play. It's hard to believe that you lose an offensive zone face-off with a 5-on-3. I mean, all you have to do is tie up the center. You have such an advantage with 2 extra men on the ice. You should be able to get possession. So the Ducks here now scrambling in the neutral zone to try and get possession established once again. And now down to a 5-on-4.
Holland, Penner, and Maroon up front on the power play for the Ducks. As the experimentation continues for Bruce Boudreau. Talinder from behind the net as he got the ricochet, and another bad break as he cleared it right into the Buffalo bench.
Now, I will say this about the Sabres and the penalty kill. Twice already in this hockey game, they have just flown one of their penalty-killing forwards out of the zone. They're trying to catch the Ducks, who have yielded a couple of shorthanded goals this season by not paying enough attention to the players without the puck, even when they're on the penalty kill.
Holland wins the draw cleanly. Down to half a minute to go in the period, and the stretch pass misses Maroon from Vatanen, and that'll be an icing call. So 24 seconds left in the period, and now the faceoff comes all the way back into the Anaheim zone.
So what do you do if you're Bruce Boudreau? You look out on the ice, you see the execution level is well below an acceptable level right now. They're having trouble with passes. Power play just doesn't look sharp, and you sense that the energy level is sagging. Do you yell? Do you scream? These are the types of decisions that Boudreau has done a masterful job at all season long, whether to give a guy a hug or yell at the guy. And that's what is going through his mind right now. What do I do to try and get these guys to wake up?
Maroon busts in the final 10 seconds of the period, gave it back to Beauchemin. His shot right through Holland. Comes around Vatanen, wires it towards the net in the waning seconds, but the horn sounds, and the Ducks will carry power play time over into the second period, less than a minute of it, and a scoreless first period has come to a close. Those questions will be answered for Bruce Boudreau as his team heads to the locker room.
The question for me is, do they have enough energy left to really raise their level in this game? Because the opening 20 minutes are just not sharp for Jonas Hiller. An exception to that rule. He made a couple of real nice saves, got a break on the one Drew Stafford bid. But boy, power plays just continue to roll by without Anaheim generating much in the way of an attack, and Boudreau's got to be very concerned.
Well, you want to talk about energy. There's plenty of it there at Niagara Falls. Each team with 7 shots on goal in a scoreless first period in Buffalo. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Satisfy your late night cravings with Jack's Munchie Meal. Available after 9 p.m. at participating restaurants. Scoreless after 1 in Buffalo at the First Niagara Center. Time for tonight's Call to the Locker Room is brought to you by Dollar Loan Center. And we go to the Anaheim bench and Lisa Hillary.
Thanks very much, John. Brad, you've played in some boisterous buildings on this road trip. Not a ton of energy in here tonight. Does that time sometimes play a part or a role in either one of the other teams having a sluggish start?
I don't think so. I like to not think that. I mean, I think it was one of those periods where there wasn't really a lot of action by both teams. A couple too many turnovers by us, and a lot of back and forth with the puck. And when that happens, there's not a lot of emotion in the game right now.
Brad, thank you.
Thanks.
John?
Thank you, Lisa. Tyler Myers still sitting as he has time left to serve in an interference penalty. So the Ducks will begin the second period on the power play. This is the front end of a hockey doubleheader tonight here on Fox Sports West as the Kings will host Nashville coming up later on this evening.
Bruce Boudreau with a new power play alignment here to start this second period. Nick Bonino in the middle of Andrew Cogliano and Daniel Winnick. So some messages, we talked about what does Boudreau do to get his guys going in a game where they're sluggish. Well, this is one thing that a coach can do, and that is control the ice time of players who expect to be on the ice in situations like this.
It's really in today's day and age, Brian, is some of the only currency coaches really have, and that is ice time anymore. As Fowler dumps it in and chases after it. Myers penalty now with under 20 seconds remaining in it. As the feverish work down low of Winnick dislodges the puck. Lovejoy steps up and returns it back for Fowler. Now Bonino has a hop his stick behind the net. Winnick got a stick on it. It squirted in front, but Cogliano couldn't get there. It's cleared, and the penalty to Myers has expired.
Well, the Sabres do a good job of keeping that puck right along the dasher board, so Anaheim doesn't have time to get the puck on their sticks, pick their heads up, and make some kind of a play.
Ducks with just one power play shot on goal in their two-man advantages so far in this game, and there's a missed shot that went on the wide side, so it comes all the way back. Botman's pass off the skate of Molson, and Allen covers up. Here's Getzlaf with Cogliano. Long shot wide. Cogliano swings and misses on the rebound. He gets it back from behind the net. Can't get his shot through. Hodgson blocked that. Ducks run it down as Getzlaf throws it to the corner. Maroon takes it off his skate to the line. Botman's shot blocked again. Here's Tyler Ennis the other way. Angles it off the wall, steps around Botman. Maroon steps in front of him and keeps the puck in his feet. Around to Corey Perry, lost the handle as he cut to the middle of the ice, and Molson gets a backhander right through the Anaheim crease. Long rebound to Getzlaf, he and Perry the other way. Stepping back, knock it off his stick there. Nikita Zadorov. Good bump by Getzlaf on Molson as he sends it back into the Anaheim zone. And jumping on his horse, Dustin Penner makes a move with it, still carrying through the neutral zone. Penner all the way to deep in the Buffalo zone, and then he tried to center, but he fanned on it, and Marcus Foligno was there.
A good job by Perreault, recognizing that the Sabres were slow to get to that loose puck, and he forces the turnover. So a little bit more forechecking pressure here by the Ducks.
He gets another one, and it's Penner high in the zone who has his shot blocked by Pezic. Penner again as Perreault working hard on this shift, keeps another puck in.
Yeah, is he ever. A wonderful shift for him.
Pezic angles it around, and Zadorov clears the zone. No icing as both teams go for the difficult second period change. Stretch pass to Palmieri, throws it in front. Holland checked by Ehrhoff as he tried to get to it for the little redirect. Emerson Edom comes up with it. Palmieri gives it to Holland in the corner. Cycles it along. Edom goes down after it. Pezic steps in front of him.
John, I have been impressed with the young defenseman Mark Pezic here. He played over 8 minutes in that opening period, and they were 8 good ones too.
First round pick of the Sabres in 2010, taken 23rd overall. He's been a plus player this year for them as well, as Anaheim is whistled for an offside. A couple of years ago, the World Junior Championships were here in this building in Buffalo, and Emerson Edom was part of the U.S. team along with Kyle Palmieri. Some others were here, Sammy Vatanen for the Ducks as well. But I was talking to Emerson about his experience. I don't know if you remember, he put a couple of tweets out that maybe didn't shed the best light on the city of Buffalo. And he said he took a lot of heat. He said, I just started experimenting with Twitter. I didn't know what it was all about. I asked him on the bus this morning if he'd sent out any tweets since he got here. And he just shook his head no.
You haven't become part of the Twitter universe.
The Twitterverse? No.
Upsetting to many fans.
Yes, I've yet to venture there. And that's in the Department of Live and Learn, I think, for Emerson Edom. And I believe that's why I'm not on Twitter yet either, because I'm still living and still learning. Icing call here against Buffalo. Excuse me, Brian.
It looks like Corey Perry is just fine. That stick went up under his visor, and well, you see those types of plays, and it's hard to believe that there are still so many players that shun wearing the visor. It can happen so quickly and completely accidentally, and puts that eye in jeopardy.
Getzlaf wins the draw. Perry drags it from behind the net, but it rolls off his stick as he pulls it to the backhand. Drew Stafford into the Anaheim zone, and Leno following up. Can't get control, and now Perry forced to put it behind his own net. Getzlaf with a long backhand pass off the boards, and it's out of the reach of Maroon, but he gets there first, so no icing. Spins it down low. Perry wanted to center. Cody McCormick comes up with it as Talinder still has Perry pinned to the end boards. Gets it to Stafford on the far side. Maroon just turns and fires it towards the net. It went off a body, and nobody seemed to know where it was. Lovejoy beaten to the puck by Leno, who clears. Ducks changing, and right back into the zone they come. Hard off the boards. Swatted on goal by Winnick. That was a purpose pass off the boards there. An interesting looking play, forcing Enroth to hold on.
There's a good look at Ryan Miller, the backup goaltender for tonight's game, at least. Interesting that, Miller is a guy that has only got one win. He's 1-10 on the year this year, and yet he could be the starting goaltender for Team USA at the Olympics. His level of play has been very, very high. He just can't get any offensive support. I was talking to him about his role on the NHL Players Association Competition Committee, specifically as it pertains to goalie equipment. And he says, look, guys are still cheating on the length of their goalie pads, and nothing's going to change until the NHL decides that they have to check it every single game. Before the start of each game, maybe even before the start of each period. He goes, otherwise you can make all the rules you want, but if they're not enforced by the NHL, guys are going to find a way to cheat.
6'2" Ryan Miller, 175 pounds, but he doesn't look that way. When he came out at the morning skate this morning in his gear, he didn't look like a tall, slender drink of water, to say the least.
You're saying maybe he shouldn't be the guy on the competition committee?
I'm not so sure that's the right guy, as they say. Cogliano's centering right through the crease, and Tyler Myers gets the carom. No score in Buffalo, 5 minutes into the second period. Cody Hodgson stick handles all the way deep and then fires it right into the crease off the stick of Hiller. Up and down we go as Bonino leads it back. He and Winnick into the Buffalo zone. Bonino stick handles through the defense. He's in, and Enroth covers up as he's unable to get a shot off.
What a nice little play by Nick Bonino. We've seen this before where he gets defensemen to bite. Here he is, that's attacking big Tyler Myers. Myers gets him with a little cross-check there that just dislodges the puck from the stick of Bonino, but he goes inside of the big man. And that was a well-placed cross-check right on the arm of Bonino that took the puck off of his stick.
And Zadorov came over and gave him a bump for good measure as well as he got to the front of the net. Pezic reversing it from behind his own net, but Smith Pelly will get there first. He tracks it to the corner for Perreault, and Marcus Foligno gives him a rough ride there. Perreault wins the puck, and Smith Pelly trying to get to the side of the net. That is tough sledding as Pezic is in there. Sticks strewn all over the place. Two different players losing their sticks. And finally, the Sabres the other way. Ott ahead for Trop, and he gets a weak shot to the net that Hiller steers aside. Foligno behind the net, working on Beauchemin. In comes Trop to dislodge it, and Smith Pelly angles it off the wall and out. Penner in on the forecheck, gets a stick on it. Nice play by Perreault to get it over to Smith Pelly. Here's Devante on his off wing, fires, big rebound, and Perreault's stick was tied up by Trop.
Now it's a smart shot by Smith Pelly. Doesn't figure that he's going to score on it. He just buries it right into the feet of the goaltender.
Icing the call here as Palmieri did not get a touch on the hard pass from Vatanen.
Well, Smith Pelly has been battling in this game, and he just made a real nice play here. Even with the head up, he says, I'm just going to fire it low. A lot of times when you shoot it low, and especially when you shoot it towards the far post when you're coming off the angle, there's a big fat rebound. There was, unfortunately, no Ducks able to get a stick on it.
Talinder off the draw has his shot blocked across the zone. And now the puck over the glass. and out of play. Still no score in Buffalo. 13:34 to play in the second.
Here's the recently acquired Matt Moulson, who came over from the Islanders in that big deal that sent Thomas Vanek to the Islanders. The Sabres collecting draft picks right now. They got a first rounder in 2014, a second rounder in 2015. And you look at that part of the bottom of the graphic, they've made or hold a total of 17 first or second round picks from 2012 to 2015. The guy everybody would like to get is a kid named Connor McDavid in the 2015 draft. Just no guarantee that, a penalty upcoming here, a trip against the Ducks. No guarantee, however, that if you finish dead last, that you're going to retain the first pick overall.
Penalty number 74, 2 minutes tripping.
In fact, now that 14 teams are eligible, every non-playoff team has a chance, at least, of getting the first pick overall. Your chance of retaining the first round pick if you finish dead last is only 25%. So that's, I think, a good move by the National Hockey League. It will prevent teams from tanking in order to get Connor McDavid in 2015.
Second power play of the night as Holland is off for tripping for the Sabres. It's a Buffalo team that has already been shut out 3 times in the early going this season. They turn it over at the blue line. Cogliano shorthanded with Winnick. Trying to filter it through, and it's off a Sabre and into the netting above the high glass.
A smart play by Andrew Cogliano. He couldn't get the shot through, but he knew that the defenseman was closing on him, so he tried to use all those legs in front of him as a screen. Turnover by Ehrhoff right at the Anaheim blue line, and away goes Winnick and Cogliano. Watch him cut back against the crane. Tries to quickly throw it to the front of the net. Unfortunately, it is deflected.
You get the feeling if Buffalo's going to win games, at least right now, they're going to be 2-1 games between the good goaltending they have received almost all season long and the fact that they are dead last in the league in scoring. They've scored only 22 goals all year, make it 23 as Hodgson converts on a nifty pass from Moulson behind the net.
Sabres exploit a mistake. The penalty killers have full control and can't get the clear. And then watch this play that's made behind the net by Matt Moulson. Watch how quickly he gets this puck and zips it out front. Little peek right through the legs of Brian Allen. And all in one motion, Cody Hodgson just whips it behind Jonas Hiller. Smart play by Moulson.
And Moulson is really cruising along. 11 points in his last 9 games. This is just his 3rd as a Sabre. For Hodgson, his 5th goal of the year. It's 1-0 Buffalo. And a power play goal.
John, think about Matt Moulson, unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. A lot of people wondered, was he having all that success on the island because he played with John Tavares? It's important for him, even on a bad Buffalo team, to continue to put up those numbers if he's going to get the big payday I think he would have got had he not been traded.
Hiller puts it on the glass. Steve Ott got a piece of it, and it goes out of play. So the Sabres, for just the second time this season, Brian, have scored first. It took a while. We're nearly halfway through the hockey game. But all smiles for Moulson and Hodgson on the Buffalo bench.
Special teams again. I mean, the Ducks, to a man, felt that they lost the game in Boston because their power play couldn't score when they had all of those opportunities. Here again tonight, the power play has not been good. The Sabres have got a power play goal up on the board.
McCormick battles a puck off the wall and then can't backhand it through. Boschema, who lays down to block it. Billy Leno behind the net gets it back for Stafford. Drew Stafford trying to get around Matthew Perreault. Still controls it in the corner, tries to center. Boschema tips it right to his goaltender, and Hiller will freeze it there.
Yeah, I see a lot of fatigue in the Ducks game tonight, John. Pucks bouncing off of sticks. Guys just unable to win the battles down low along the boards. Ron Ralston and actually the goaltender Ryan Miller kind of laid out a challenge to the team and said, you know what, if we don't win more puck battles and more battles for possession along the boards, nothing will change. We will never win. They've been much better at that in tonight's game thus far.
Defensive zone face-off controlled by the Ducks, angled ahead by Cogliano, and the race is washed as Winnick put pressure on Ristolainen. Now Winnick takes it away. It's Talinder who leans on him in the corner. Winnick still protecting the puck, gets it out high, and Botman does a good job to keep it off the glass. Winnick reaching, Cogliano digs it free, Bonino back to the point. Brian Allen just spins it down low, Cogliano bumped off by Talinder, Winnick moves it back. Botman across, and Allen gets a touch on it to the corner. Winnick with a nice little feed. Cogliano on the three-man game worked it down low. Bonino connecting with Winnick, but he couldn't get the shot through to the net. Great shift here from the Ducks. Bonino turns it to the goal, just missed the far post. We had Enroth looking the other way for a brief second. Allen's shot sticked away by the Buffalo netminder, and it's cleared into the Anaheim bench. I'll join Travis Rogers weekdays as he anchors the only live local morning show in all of Orange County. It's from 6 to 10 a.m. on AM 830, the radio home of the Ducks.
Yeah, best shift in a while for Anaheim as they get the cycle going down low, control some pucks. Nick Bonino does not miss the far post by much on that semi-wraparound bid.
Ducks hope to build some momentum off that shift as now the big line comes out. Penner now with Perry and Getzlaf. Ott takes the long pass at center. Filters it into the Anaheim zone. Perry spun around as he gets to the corner after it by Marcus Foligno. Loose puck to Foligno, knifed off his stick. And starting back is Beauchemin. Takes a hit to make the play. Possible 3-on-2. Getzlaf gains the line. Hands it off to Penner. Back to Getzlaf. He scores!
Wow, what a pass from Penner to Getzlaf. Just a beautiful little feed. First of all, Getzlaf, it's interesting as he approaches the blue line what he does to make sure his line mates don't go offside. Stretches it out. Here it is all the way from the Anaheim zone. Watch Getzlaf here, what he does with the puck to get it across the blue line in a hurry. Reaches, gets it across. Little give and go. The Sabres are all around Ryan Getzlaf, but they can't control his strength. Corey Perry going to the front of the net. And here's Getzlaf. Here's the give, and here's the go. And boy, what a shot. That was no chance for Enroth. Great pass from Dustin Penner.
Team leading 6th of the season as he joins his twin atop the goal-scoring chart for the Ducks. And he has drawn Anaheim even in Buffalo, 1-1. Lovejoy steps in to Molson in the neutral zone, and Fowler collects the puck. Well, we talked about the momentum off the Bonino line's shift just prior to that, Brian. And indeed, Anaheim does build on the strong shift that those guys had. The next shift is a tie hockey game. Getzlaf 5 points in his last 5 games now. Penner will draw the primary assist. Francois Beauchemin gets the secondary assist at 9:42. Nice diving play by Lovejoy, who goes down to interrupt a centering pass intended for Hodgson.
Yeah, it was a terrific play by Ben Lovejoy. Got his stick along the ice, shaft of the stick, and eliminated the entire passing lane. Go, good job by him. It's the captain, Ryan Getzlaf, that has brought the Ducks back. Sweet little pass from Dustin Penner. Bruce Boudreau leaning over the shoulder of Ryan Getzlaf, and looks to me like they are talking about plays in the neutral zone. The great news from the Getzlaf goal is that the Ducks now a +17 5-on-5. The Sabres are now -14 when playing 5-on-5. So Anaheim wants to stay out of the penalty box tonight, and if they can do that, they're going to like their chances the rest of the way.
Brian Allen reversing for Sammy Botman. And the Ducks work it out of their own zone, and now offside is the call as it comes back into the Anaheim zone. Well, you talked about that sweet little pass Dustin Penner made as he gets the assist on the Getzlaf goal. He's now got 5 points in his last 6 games, and Brian, he's +11 on the season. Came into the night 5th overall in the league in plus-minus. He's only been in 8 games. He's got 6 points. Of course, a lot of people look at his experience in Los Angeles and wondered if he could still produce points the way he had in years past in Edmonton and in Anaheim. Early on, he's been able to do that.
Well, he's always seemed very well suited to play alongside Getzlaf and Perry. A lot of guys would tell you that, of course. They're two tremendous players. But, you know, they're cyclers. And Dustin Penner can be a very effective guy on the cycle.
Tied at 1 in Buffalo, just past the halfway mark of the hockey game. Girgensons sends it deep into the Anaheim zone, and nice job by Sami Vatanen. Took the hit, used his body to protect the puck, and he gets puck support from his teammates, enabling Anaheim to bring it out of their own zone. Allen fires it ahead off the stick of Perry, and Enroth forced to wander out to play it. For Christian Ehrhoff, averaging over 25 minutes a game again this season. Ehrhoff is a guy that they will look to log those big minutes as he has in the past. Smith-Pelly tips it past in, or excuse me, it's Penner, tips it into the zone. And now he gets that cycle Brian was just talking about, going down low. Getzlaf to Perry, puts it right back in front, rebound off of Enroth, was there for Penner, who keeps it alive. Getzlaf to the half wall, and his pass deflected by Hodgson. Ennis back the other way, but he has it knifed off his stick in the neutral zone. Hodgson follows up, working on Lindholm, curls to the right boards, and Penner knocks it away. And then takes it away. Great pass up the middle of Perry. Can he get to it? Enroth started to come out, and now Enroth makes the save.
Perry just ran out of gas. Looked like he had a half step. But Ehrhoff is a sensational skater. Great pass by Dustin Penner. Puck rolling a little bit, goes off the stick of Corey Perry. And look at Enroth. Boy, he gets on his horse and really disrupts the shot of Corey Perry. Good save by the Buffalo netminder. See Perry try to use that right leg to protect the puck from the stick of Ehrhoff.
Enroth was almost in no man's land. He started to come out to play that puck and then realized that Perry had the angle and he had to hustle back. Corey Trop, product of Michigan State, feeds it in front, and I think Lovejoy's going to take a penalty here, or is it Steve Ott? The two of them are tangled behind the net, and Ott says, "What, me worry?"
No, he's going. He had Ben
Buffalo number 9,
Lovejoy up against the boards, and watch what he does. Does he take a hand off his stick here? Yeah, he does. There's the grab. Just the briefest of grabs by Ott. And it's going to cost him a couple of minutes. So, boy, what an opportunity here, John. 7:19 left in the second. The Ducks would love to get that second goal on the board before this second period is over with.
So Ott sits at 12:41 for holding, and Anaheim with their third power play chance of the night. They're 0 for 2. Discussion over at the Anaheim bench involving Hampus Lindholm is completed. And now Getzlaf wins the draw, but he misses Fowler with it, sending the puck all the way back.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's a great job by Getzlaf. He wins it back. Unfortunately, Fowler was unable to retrieve that puck.
That's that go-to move he has in the face-off circle, where he spins off of it and wins it on his forehand. He now tracks it down in the corner and whips it around. Fowler able to hold the zone this time. Hits the brakes, finds Perry. Getzlaf off the half wall. Back for Fowler, who can't get the shot through. Blocked, breaking the stick of Stafford, but the Sabres ice it. Minute 20 to go in the power play as Getzlaf gets the legs churning at center, and the pass to Lindholm just came back across the blue line, so it's offside.
A couple of elements on the power play. It's good penetration through the neutral zone. They're able to get the puck, get set up. The one time they get the point shot, they just can't get the point shot through, and that has been an issue for the Ducks with the extra man. I mean, they have bodies in front of the net, but the point shots seem to get cut off at the pass.
Perreault with a face-off win, and Vatanen loses his footing. Good recognition by Hiller, who came firing out of his crease to play that puck. Now 3-on-2 are the Ducks into the zone. Smith-Pelly can't handle the pass from Perreault. Up the glass off the glove of Vatanen. It's cleared out by Girgensons. Smith-Pelly, with under a minute to go in the power play, chases into the Buffalo zone. Tangled up with Ristolainen, but the loose puck squirts back to the near side. Time and space for Jonas Larsson, and he ices. Larson, who came over from Minnesota in the Jason Pominville deal last year. Another of the very young forwards on this Buffalo team. Smith-Pelly can't get a stick on it off the corner boards, and the aforementioned Larson moves the puck ahead. Stafford shorthanded, and his pass broken up, but it comes right over to Larson. Larson finds an open man. It's Ehrhoff, top of the circle with a high drive that missed everything and goes out of play. 8 seconds left in the penalty to Steve Ott.
Now he's thinking top of the net. He almost takes the head off of Jonas Hiller with this blast. The Sabres, the more dangerous team here, even though they are shorthanded. Boy, that may have caught a little piece of the shoulder of Hiller. Devontae Smith-Pelly says, I'm getting my head out of the way of that one, and rolls over when Ehrhoff winds up.
Ehrhoff, leading scoring defenseman a season ago here in Buffalo for the Sabres, signed a 10-year deal 2 years ago, and just his 3rd year of that deal now with the Sabres. The penalty is over. Ott's out of the box, and Buffalo full strength. Anaheim now 0 for 3 on the power play tonight as Fowler activates to get to a loose puck, then knocks it out of the feet of Tyler Myers. Tied at 1, 5 minutes to go, second period in Buffalo, and Hodgson's shot off an Anaheim stick and out of play. All the scoring in this one and come in the second, tied at 1.
We got a couple of Ducks fans in attendance here tonight in Buffalo. You see their team has come back in the second period. Bruce Boudreau was talking to us earlier today about some good news out of Norfolk. Lucas Spiza, who'd been practicing with the Ducks on this trip, went down to get his feet wet playing a game, and last night was named the 3rd star of the game, had an assist, was a +3 in Norfolk's win. Playing another game for them tonight, so he could be ready to go here in the real near term. Boudreau said, I think it's a good idea for you to go and play against people who really don't like you very much, rather than just practicing against your own team.
Cogliano finds a wide open Vatanen, and he scores! Sami Vatanen, and the first goal from a Ducks defenseman this season has given them the lead in Buffalo.
Well, great instincts shown by Vatanen. He recognizes that there's a gap between the Sabres back checkers and the 3 people that were defending in the zone. He jumps into the hole, and this is just a real nice play by Andrew Cogliano. Throws on the brakes, gets his head up. Look how wide open Sami Vatanen is, and he roofs it. I mean, this is a perfect shot over the glove of Ehrhoff. Vatanen gives the Ducks a 2-1 lead. This shot is perfect.
He had a couple of goals at the tail end of last season. That's his first this season, so 3 on the young career for Sami Vatanen, and the Ducks have a 2-1 lead. Now Hodgson from a bad angle throws it on net off the stick of Hiller. It was loose in the slot for a moment, but Emerson Edom off to the races up left wing into the Buffalo zone, trying to hook it into the middle for Perreault. It came back to him. Now Lindholm works it around. Beauchemin looking for a tip, got it from Smith-Pelly, but it went wide. Devontae gets it back. Perreault alone in front. Rebound to Edom. He scores. Well, Ehrhoff made the first save, but he couldn't make the second, and just like that, it's 3-1.
Now the Sabres standing around and looking in the defensive zone, and the Ducks make them pay. 3rd goal of the season for Emerson Edom, and it's a rebound goal. Beauchemin throws it towards the front of the net, and then it's just hard work, and boy, some defensive breakdowns. I mean, look how wide open Matthew Perreault is. A mix-up down low by Buffalo. No one picks up Perreault. The rebound sits there for Emerson Edom. But that is stick checking at its worst by the Sabres down low, and Anaheim says thank you very much.
Brian, I heard you in the pregame show talk about Devontae Smith-Pelly's game in Boston. And he has really been a regular contributor since he came up from Norfolk here as the puck's loose in the Anaheim goal crease, but Getzlaf skates away with it. It's a small sample size, but 6 games, 5 points for Devontae Smith-Pelly since his recall from the American League. Penner down low, trying to feed Perry. He takes it behind the net. Back to Penner. Sharp angle shot is held by Ehrhoff. 3.5 to play. And boy, did the complexion of this game change as Anaheim scored 2 goals 34 seconds apart. And now they have distanced themselves from the Sabres.
Out shooting Buffalo now 11-4 in this second period. So we wondered, would the Ducks pick it up in the second period? They have picked it up. Now you look at the Buffalo bench and you wonder, this is a team that has been demoralized time and time again this season. Can they reach down and push back?
Ducks bring it right back in. Holland below the goal line for Patrick Maroon. Two of them work out of the corner, and Maroon got away from Talinder, turns and got it to the net. Paddle of the stick of Enroth down on the ice, making the stop. Billy Leno back the other way with Drew Stafford. They'll dump it deep into the Anaheim zone. Allen shovels it along. Vatanen takes the hit, makes the play. Here's Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri angles it deep into the Buffalo zone. And good work by Stafford. Skating hard on the back check to get to that loose puck. Now he takes a long feed up left wing. The end of a shift. Stafford cuts to the high slot, fires, and Hiller with a good save through traffic.
That was a 3-on-2 rush. The Ducks defense was trying to buy time.
Nice little touch pass. Bonino gets Cogliano on the fly. Kicked away by Enrod. He's opening up a bit as Cogliano tries to center and then goes after it as it was stuck on the side of the goal. Loses his helmet as he battles it free. Bonino spins it around. Lindholm finds an angle, got a tip from Bonino. Winnick drops it back to Lindholm once more, and his pass across vacates the zone. Down to 2 minutes to go now in the second period. Off the board stretch pass to Girgensons, and he'll tip it deep into the Anaheim zone. Fowler trying to move it along. Smith-Pelly has to wait for it and uses the boards to clear.
And now the Ducks, with a 2-goal lead, are going to start really focusing on not turning the puck over.
Nice hit by Edom. And then Smith-Pelly's shot ended up on the stick of Perreault. Larson plays it back into the Anaheim zone, and Lovejoy and Fowler play catch with it. Fowler gets center red and whips it in deep. Around it comes. And Perreault keeps it alive on the hash mark. Emerson Edom is just running around with reckless abandon.
You know what? The jump is back, John. We wondered, the Ducks, who weren't moving their feet as well as they would have liked to in the opening 20 minutes, they're at full speed now, and the Sabres are back on their heels. Jonas Hiller has not been busy in this second period, but this was a real nice stop with the blocker, and then the puck turns over, and away goes Cogliano, and he just turns on the Jets, forces Enroth to make a good stop with the leg pad.
The nifty little touch pass by Bonino in the neutral zone, changing the angle of the play and nearly springing Cogliano. Getzlaf winning the defensive zone draw, and Perry with a strike ahead for Penner. A minute to go in the second period. Ducks got down a goal, but now lead 3-1. Perry from behind the net finds space, turns and has it taken off his stick by Matt Molson. Allen unable to clear as it comes inside the stripe, and Tyler Ennis is there. The Edmonton native lays it back to the line. Ristolainen shot tipped over top of the goal. Molson got a piece of it, loose to the side of the net. No one seemed to know where it was. The Sabres recover. Talinder plays it across. Ristolainen shot blocked by Penner. He gets it once more, all the way below the hash mark. Molson trying to drag it in front, left it behind, and Beauchemin steps into him. Nice job there by Francois. He moves it around the boards. Only 20 seconds left in the period as it's angled rink wide right on the Buffalo goal by Perry. That'll be handy as Anaheim needed a couple of changes here in the waning seconds. Sabres forced to bring it 200 feet. And Foligno has it knocked away inside the stripe. Winnick looks up and will shoot a long one as the horn sounds. And the Ducks find the energy in the second, Brian, and take a 3-1 lead in the locker room.
They outshoot Buffalo 14-5 in that second period, and territorially, they dominate. And what good news this is. Sami Vatanen scores the first goal by an Anaheim defenseman in this hockey game. He showed great recognition about jumping in, sensing the opportunity, and burying it up top. The Ducks have got life.
The captain got it started after Anaheim got down a goal. having given up a power play goal earlier in the period. Then the kids kept it going. Vatanin's first of the year. Emerson Edom on the rebound. And after 40 minutes of play in Buffalo, Anaheim on top 3-1. A 3-1 lead for the Ducks after 2 in Buffalo, as we are still a few moments away from the start of the third period of play at First Niagara Center. And the Ducks youth on the blue line coming through so far in this one tonight.
Yeah, almost identical in terms of their minutes played in this one, despite the fact they're on separate defensive pairings. But that's big news for Sami Vatanen to break through and get that first goal, Johnny. He's an offensive-minded defenseman. You know that's going to make him feel better. And Hampus Lindholm just continues to roll along with his defensive partner, Francois Beauchemin, and pile up the minuses. He's just so reliable in his own end.
Sami Vatanen now with 4 points in his last 8 games, including that goal here tonight. As you see, Hampus Lindholm tapping into the 13 years of NHL experience. To his left on the bench, Brian Allen. And we are set to go in Buffalo to begin the third period of play.
John, I'm looking over at the Anaheim bench right now, and they're a man short, and I think it's Sami Vatanen who is absent. So we'll keep an eye on him and find out if it's just an equipment issue that has prevented him from joining his mates.
Bonino wins the draw to begin the third period of play. Both teams full strength as Fowler plays it ahead, and it is swept along by Winnick. He did not get a touch on it, but Cogliano with a good effort there to nullify an icing.
That's one of those plays where the Sabres actually do get a touch on it, but it's not icing because the linesman has to make the call when the puck crosses the hash mark area on the new touch-up icing rule.
Bonino on the back check, takes it away from Hodgson, pitches it in on the backhand and goes to the bench for a change. Winnick works down low, now feeds it to the line. Fowler sends it near side. Getzlaf stutter stepping on Hodgson. Winnick keeps it alive. The captain below the goal line. Still with it. Backhand pass across. Brian Allen wires it into the glove of Enroth.
Corey Perry was trying to get to the front of the net to provide some kind of a screen. He could not. No problem for Jonas Enroth. Enroth, by the way, played for the Swedish national team at last spring's World Hockey Championships, and he was named the best goaltender of the tournament.
Making his first career appearance against the Ducks. 5'10", 165-pound netminder, small by today's standards for sure. Has never played more than 26 games in a season. Trop stood up as he tries to come into the Anaheim zone and then takes a run at Brian Allen, who just sidestepped it. Myers holds it in, steps up.
That did not miss by much.
Oh, and a good screen from Trop in front. I don't know if Hiller would have even seen it.
And no Sami Vatanen yet. John has materialized over on the Anaheim bench, so the Ducks are going with 5 on the blue line right now.
Zadorov sends it in, and Leno is spun around on a hit from Devontae Smith-Pelly. He then clears the zone. Myers back in his own zone. Kind of fumbled the pass as he tried to move it ahead. He flubbed it, trying to get it to Stafford, and then there's Emerson Edom again, colliding with Myers. I found it hard to believe looking at the stat sheet, and this is where stats become so arbitrary. No hits for Emerson Edom in that second period, and all he was doing was throwing his body around every chance he got. Race for the puck won by Johan Larsson, and the Sabres keep it alive down low. Stafford to the line. Tillinder's shot blocked on the way. Larsson gets it back. Swedish native spins it down low, and Stafford kept to the outside by Lindholm. Turns, gets it on net, a save by Hiller that squirts to the corner. But again, the Sabres on the loose puck. Larsson stumbles as he moves it up the boards. Leno turns out of the corner, chopped off his stick. Nice defensive play there by Palmieri, and that enables Edom to get it to center red, and the Ducks will get a change.
Good battles down low. The Sabres with a strong shift, controlling the puck, but Anaheim does a nice job keeping them out to the perimeter.
Puck turned over at the Anaheim blue line, and Holland circles back with it. Brian Allen from his own zone. Hard pass that would have been offside, and instead is icing.
John, I want to go back, and we have uncovered a hit on Sami Vatanen. And watch as he pokes the puck up the boards. He gets just drilled by Cody McCormick. Now, we're not sure if this was the play and the reason why Vatanen is not back on the Ducks bench.
And we're told he is questionable to return in this one, as now the clock shows 16:48 to go. So perhaps 5 defensemen for that long for Bruce Boudreau, as Winnick takes the pass off the boards and gives it back to Bonino. Nice little play in the corner, finds a wide open Cogliano, who fired it wide.
Well, he's made some nice plays, hasn't he? Nick Bonino again, setting people up. It's just very deceptive the way he uses his stick. Changes his shooting angle, his passing angle.
Winnick finds Lindholm joining the rush. One hands it into the zone. Cogliano into the high slot. Winnick gets it back. Francois Beauchemin winds, and that partially blocked. I think Ennis got a stick on it. Ducks retrieve it. Lindholm, middle of the ice, falls and breaks his stick. And now has to hustle to try to get back into the play. Great play by Beauchemin, who came over and knocked it away from Molson, taking away a potential 2-on-1.
Well, Lindholm has now got Nick Bonino's stick, and the Ducks are going to get some fresh bodies over the boards.
Beauchemin caught out there as he's on the far side of the ice right now.
Nice little play by Beauchemin there to win a battle and allow Getzlaf to make a little 3-foot pass on the Ducks exit and get away from the pressure.
Palmieri circles the goal, finds a man alone in front, and Getzlaf put it right on. Back it comes to Palmieri, but it hops his stick in the high slot. Getzlaf with a skate, kept it in for a moment. Here's Foligno the other way. Lost the handle at the blue line and then pays the price from Lovejoy. Up and down we go as Fowler in full flight into the Buffalo zone. Hands it off to Perry. Pulls it in and scores. Off the post and in. It's 4-1.
What a shot by Corey Perry. You know, I've said this so many times about Perry that what makes him so deceptive, those long arms of his in combination with a pretty long stick as well. Goaltenders and defensemen often misread the release point, and that is just a perfect strike by Perry. Off the post and in, not much chance for Jonas Enroth.
Well, the Ducks got down in this one, but answered back and haven't looked back since. Fowler with a nice rush up ice gets the primary assist on the goal, and it's now 4-1. 5 minutes gone in the third period. Emerson Edom knocks it out of midair into the middle of the ice. Matthew Perreault hustles to get to it. Tried to get it to Smith Pelly. And Edom will just do the prudent thing, and that's put it deep. Enroth out to play it around. Smith Pelly pulls it off the boards and whips it wide on the short side. Billy Leno pestered by Edom. Puck loose to the corner, and Perreault up with it. Perreault finds a wide open Edom. He scores! Second of the night for Emerson Edom.
Boy, Matthew Perreault, he's just been like a little water bug out there, John, and he's stripping pucks away from people. But it's his deceptiveness in the way he uses his speed to open up passing lanes. We've got Perreault isoed, and watch how quickly he turns here. Knocks the defenseman off the puck, and away he goes, gets his head up. And a great release by Emerson Edom. Edom slides, says, give it to me. And he delivers a great pass to Emerson Edom.
Second of the night for Edom means 5 goals for the Ducks tonight. And fans, that means Hooters will reward you with 5 free wings. Go to AnaheimDucks.com/Hooters and print the coupon, redeemable at any Southern California location within the next 24 hours.
And a timeout has been called by Ron Ralston, and he's calling the troops over here. And you know, John, this has been an issue with the Sabres this year, where they just seem to stop playing at times when things go south. It's what happens when a club gets demoralized, and the Ducks have completely demoralized them since the beginning of the second period.
I'd say it's been a triumphant return to Buffalo for Emerson Edom tonight with a couple of goals. Tweets notwithstanding. Now 5-1 Anaheim. And Perreault with a couple of assists tonight. Getzlaf has a goal and an assist. The balanced scoring continuing for the Ducks. And here's a turnover again. Cogliano in the slot just couldn't pull the trigger. And back the other way. Jurgensen's, and he gets hit hard by Lovejoy as he dumps it in. Haven't seen much of Brian Flynn tonight. He's trying to fight for that puck along the near wall. And now he'll chase it as it's dumped right back into the Anaheim zone. Former standout at the University of Maine, number 65 for Buffalo. He swats the puck back towards the Anaheim slot.
This might be the most physical game we have seen Ben Lovejoy play, John. He led all Ducks in hitting through 2 periods, and he's doled out a couple of beauties here in the third period.
He led the Ducks in hits in Boston on Thursday night. He's credited with 7 in that game, and I remember a couple that were doozies as well there. No icing is the call. Hiller out to play it. Molson in the corner comes up with it. Down low, Maroon reaching. Hodgson got it back to the point, and they score. Hiller never saw the wrist shot from Talinder.
Well, this is a seeing eye shot by Henrik Talinder. First of the season for him. And he just kind of throws a little snapshot. That may have deflected off of Brian Allen en route to the goal. Let's see if there's a touch here on the Anaheim defenseman. You can see Allen kind of kicked out with the right leg. But it beats Hiller short side, and the Sabres have a little bit of life.
Now down 5-2 after scoring the game's first goal. 5 unanswered are now answered, and an icing call off the draw against the Ducks.
Let's take one more look at the goal, and here's the wrist shot. Tough to say. Judging by the reaction of the goaltender, Hiller, I almost think it hit something in front of the net.
Looked like it may have from that angle. I didn't think so from the behind the net look, but regardless, now 5-2 as Talinder gets his first of the year after coming back from the New Jersey Devils in the offseason. Mentioned earlier his second go-around as a Sabre. Ehrhoff behind the net, reversing it away from pressure, but pressure on Ott as Boschema pushes the wall. Corey Trop drops down to try to dig it out and does work it out of the Buffalo zone.
John, I'm watching the Ducks very carefully here and understanding how tired this team must be at this point. I'll tell you what, Hampus Lindholm is having a night back there. He just seems to have just boundless energy.
Well, these two teams with 5 teenagers on their respective rosters between them. 4 dressed tonight as Grigorenko for Buffalo, a healthy scratch. Of course, John Scott also scratched for Buffalo tonight. He is still serving that 7-game suspension for the hit on Louis Eriksson. Corey Trop to center for the Sabres, and he chips it in on the backhand. Fowler looks over his shoulder, sidesteps Billy Leno. And McCormick got a pretty good pop in on Lovejoy as he worked it up the wall and out. Big collision in the neutral zone between Edom and Zadorov. Sabres right back into the Anaheim zone. Stafford's pass to the far post, just out of the reach of Leno. Winnick tries to play it across, but the pass behind Cogliano, so it's offside. Ducks get onside as now they regroup back in their own zone. Cogliano flips it in wide of the Buffalo goal. Winnick and Zadorov meet at the puck. Stafford comes up with it. Into the middle. Jurgensen's with a drive as he just turned on the Jets and got a little bit of a space and an angle for himself.
He's got some speed, doesn't he?
Puck jammed out by Cogliano, won't go far enough for icing. That was another big kid, big lanky guy, listed at 6'1", 188. Jorgensen has it again, and he's sealed off this time by Penner.
The Sabres are going to be good. It might be 3 or 4 years, but boy, they got a lot of young kids, high draft picks that will become, the core of this team. It's just going to take a couple of years for that to happen, for them to get the experience.
Jorgensen's looking for Flynn in front. That pass partially blocked. Lindholm spins it to the near side, and Penner gets it into the middle of the ice. Lovejoy wants to join the rush. Now a 3-on-3 as Getzlaf peels off to the left boards. Looking for a trailer, angles it to Fowler off the wall. Cam out of the corner, back to the captain. Getzlaf sends it to the net, tipped just wide. Penner will change as Perry knifes it right into the slot area. Nothing but blue sweaters there, though. And Ristolainen moves it away. Just past the halfway mark of the third period. Anaheim has added to their lead here in the final frame, now up 5-2. And Perreault pounces on another loose puck. Got it to Edom in the slot, and he was hit by Ennis. It looked like that was going to be a good chance for Emerson to go for the hat trick. He got a little tip on that Allen bid. But as it's cleared, Fowler winds it back up. Cam on the backhand, trickles it in. Anaheim will change.
Yeah, some smart plays here by the Ducks. They're making sure that the offensive blue line, they're getting pucks in deep.
Hodgson makes a move, then has his shot redirected out of play. The Ducks lead is now 3 in Buffalo.
Ryan Getzlaf, 28 years old now, and he just does things at speed that a lot of other big centermen just can't do. Watch the hands here, Getzlaf. Little toe drag between the legs, back against the grain, look for the open man, nothing there, so he makes the prudent play with a 3-goal lead in the third period to make sure he doesn't get a shot or a pass blocked. He just continues to get it deep.
Leading scorer on the season now for Anaheim, 14 points. They missed their 15th game. Bonino throws it across from within the Anaheim zone. 9 minutes left in Buffalo. 5-2, the Ducks have the lead over the Sabres. Trying to make it 9 out of a possible 10 points in their last 5 games on this trip. And as Bruce Boudreau told us this morning, it would guarantee a winning trip. From there, they could go to New York and try to make it a great trip. Especially when you consider, Brian, they lost the first 2 games of this trip. An opportunity to improve to 4-2-1 on the trip looks pretty darn good.
And also, given the fact that they've lost 3 pretty important players throughout this trip in Koivu, Solani, and Silverberg. Not to mention all the other injuries that they still have to deal with.
Hard around Lovejoy, and the center it comes. Getzlaf one-hands it over to Perry. He puts on a stick handling display. Back to the captain in front. Penner off his skate. Got it to his stick. Didn't get much on it, and Enroth will freeze it. Under 8 to go at First Niagara Center.
Quite a night for Emerson Edom so far. A couple of goals, +3, his first career 2-goal game. Sometimes, I guess, on these long road trips, you look for your kids to provide energy, and he's certainly provided a lot here. That was just a great pass from Perreault to Edom. But, John, you were pointing out during the commercial break, every goal that the Ducks have scored, top shelf tonight on Enmont.
Where your mother never dusts. I mentioned a couple of years ago he was listed as the shortest goaltender in the National Hockey League. Back in the 2012 season, I don't know if that's still the case, but he does play a lot on his knees as well when he's looking for pucks, and the Ducks have exploited the top part of the net. Sabres trying to stay in this as Ville Leino from behind the goal brings it in front. His backhander blocked. Penner kicking away at it, and now it's forced to the perimeter.
The Ducks do a good job of collapsing the forwards down low, and there are layers of people in front of Jonas Hiller making life difficult for Buffalo.
Cody McCormick behind the net tries to stuff it on the wraparound. Waiting for him at the near post is Hiller, who covers up. New this year, all rental suites for Ducks games at Honda Center are all-inclusive with your choice of a variety of food and beverage menus. Secure an all-inclusive experience for your guests today. Call 714-634-2582 for information and pricing.
Now, this is very much following a formula for the Sabres where they seem to go to sleep for long periods of time. They get a couple of goals scored on them, and then their coach calls a timeout, yells at them, and then they get going again.
Doing the wraparound attempt, this time from Ennis. Well, you called it Groundhog Day during one of the commercial breaks, Brian. I don't think there's any better analogy than that. They are losing the same way they have lost every game this year. They're being outshot by a wide margin. They're not a good 5-on-5 hockey club. They don't generate a lot of shots, period, regardless of how many they give up. They've only got 16 shots on goal in this one.
Ooh, that's a big hit. That's a tough hit for Lindholm to take.
Yeah, Ennis put a shoulder into him. And now the puck blocked again as everyone collapsing between the circles. And Smith-Pelly loses the handle, then clears it to center. In case you're just joining us, the Ducks are down a defenseman in this third period. Sammy Vatanen, leaving after the second period, has not returned. So they're only going with 5 on the back line. 6 minutes left to play. And that's one thing the Ducks would like to see, one trend that would like to see stop on this trip, and that is the injuries.
And you know what? It's a good point, John. I guarantee you that Boudreau will be saying to the guys on the bench, don't slow down a half step.
Yeah.
That is when you get injured.
Yeah, keep playing hard.
Even though they have a comfortable lead, keep the legs moving.
Winnick just steers it back into the Buffalo zone as the clock becoming an ally for the Ducks. Anaheim on the season 5-3-1 away from Honda Center. Flynn from a sharp angle off the end boards, and Hiller had to make a good stop there. Talked in the pregame show about the dominance of the West over the East, and Tyler Myers gets one. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-goal game with 5 minutes to go.
Yep, and they've been controlling the puck down low. And Tyler Myers is a freelancer out there. I mean, he's wandering everywhere in the offensive zone, and this puck just bounces directly to him. Look at it hopping around, and he's in the right spot. The Ducks can't control the big man.
Seems like Buffalo has made a concerted effort to start everything from below the goal line of late, Brian. They've tried those wraparounds. Every time they get the puck, they're throwing it behind the net, trying to start the play from behind Jonas Hiller.
And now we got a timeout from Bruce Boudreau, who's saying, we got to keep playing, guys. The D-men are coming down, and wingers, you got to pick them up. If they come off the blue line, you got to stay with them. Harder plays is what Boudreau will be looking for. Quick outs out of the defensive zone. If the defenseman or a forward is moving the puck around the boards, don't just flip it around the boards. Gun it. If you have to take an icing, you take an icing, but don't turn it over.
Well, the former Calder Trophy winner, now in his 5th season, Tyler Myers, has made it interesting. 5 minutes to go, and it's 5-3. Getzlaf battling the puck off the faceoff back into his own zone, and Lindholm and Boschema play catch. Long pass off the stick of Getzlaf deep into the zone. He charges in on Zadorov and ties him up. Myers is there. Perry comes in. And Myers knocks Perry down. That enables Enroth to get a stick on it. And up the wall, Steve Ott will flip it ahead. The foot race for Gergensons and Lindholm, who comes back to help out as Penner tried to step in front. And here's a stretch pass. Perry's clean on a breakaway. Score! And guess what? Top shelf.
What a pass. What a pass by Ryan Getzlaf to Corey Perry. I mean, this is just beautiful. It all starts with a nice little defensive play down low by Hampus Lindholm, who pokes the puck around the boards to Getzlaf, and he gets his head up in a hurry. Here's the play by Lindholm. Around the boards, Look at Getzlaf pick the head up, and he just snaps it. And it is perfect, and so is the shot.
Third time this season the Ducks have scored 6 goals in a game. And it's up top again on Enroth.
That is a skill. The Ryan Getzlaf, again, that saucer pass, elevated, that lands flat.
There's Perreault in close, gets it across. Edom, muscled it just wide. And Matthew very nearly setting up the young man for his first NHL hat trick there. Now it squirts free to Smith-Pelly. Keeps it deep. The Ducks have the 3-goal lead back now, 6-3 in Buffalo. Fowler can't hold it in. Now a 3-point night for Ryan Getzlaf as he has a goal and 2 assists. Perry and Edom each with 2-goal nights. Ristolainen's pass is too tall, so icing the call with 3.5 left. And what was once a sellout crowd starting to dwindle.
Yeah, well, the Ducks take a little bit of the pressure off there by that second goal of the night by Corey Perry. Now with 3:32 remaining, they can really go to work on that clock. I would say that was a pretty good timeout for head coach Bruce Boudreau.
Well, I would say it's a great response off the timeout from his players as we get another icing call here. Exactly what he was looking for. Doesn't want it to be comfortable, but it's more comfortable now than it was. Ducks once had a 4-goal cushion in this one. Ron Ralston looks on as his club in danger of going 0-8-1 at home. There's 2 wins in their first 15 coming into tonight. And they got a tall order for a fairly offensively challenged team down by 3 with just 3 to play. McCormick muscling it into the zone, and Bonino sandwedges it back to center.
See the play by Brian Allen. He goes back, no messing around. He guns it around the boards.
Drew Stafford again from behind the net, and that's knocked away by the stick of Bonino. McCormick wins a puck battle to the line. Ehrhoff's shot is blocked by Winnick, and that clears the zone. Perry picks it up and rolls it inside the Buffalo blue line. Sabres will head out west after this one. They will be to the West Coast. Their next game is Tuesday in San Jose. And then they'll be in Anaheim on Friday as part of a 3-game trip that'll see them play the Kings as well. Ducks hoping to go 6-2-1 against the Eastern Conference if this score holds. And they would improve to 6-3-1 away from home. No icing here as Fowler is back to get it. And that probably doesn't disappoint anyone on the Anaheim bench as the clock winds to 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and Cam Fowler's just going to take his time. Make sure, protect the puck. Coaches call that managing the puck, working the clock.
Well, a few boos rain down here in Buffalo from those who have stayed.
You know, I'll say this about the Sabres fans, John. There's another sellout crowd here tonight. Despite the issues that this team has had, they continue to come out in droves to support the local club.
Myers fumbles it a little bit behind the net, but gets it back, and Zadorov now moves it ahead. Zadorov still with junior eligibility. They'll have to make a decision on him soon. This is just his 7th game as it's scooped up by Jonas Hiller. And a minute 21 remains.
He actually belongs. His junior rights are owned by the powerful London Knights team.
Yeah, like they need him.
And you know, we were joking this morning. He's just a mountain of a man, and I got to believe that everyone in the Ontario Hockey League is thinking to themselves, please play him 10 games.
Keep him.
Yes.
I misspoke. This is his 6th game, I should say. So still some time before it's decision time on Nikita Zadorov. First-round pick of the Sabres, taken 16th overall in last June's draft. Now just a minute to go in Buffalo with the Ducks on top 6-3, and the prudent play made by Bonino, who gets it deep. Anaheim 50 seconds away from improving to 11-3-1. A wonderful start. Here's Edom. Knocks away a puck. A chance for the hat trick, and it's kicked away by Enroth. Great effort by Emerson Edom. Corey Trop will steer it in. Hiller lets it go around. Final half minute as Perry takes it away from Foligno. Strides to center. He needs one for the hat trick as well. Instead, he centers back for Edom. A little handcuffed. He keeps it alive.
Boudreau's got his two goal scorers on the ice. But he's thinking hat trick.
Yep, Lindholm gives it to Getzlaf over to Lovejoy. He'll take the shot, fought off by Enroth. Rebound back to Perry, knifes it in front. He goes after it, but it's knocked away. Getzlaf comes up with it, back for Perry. Doesn't want to shoot, looking for Edom, and he nearly ricocheted in anyway as it went off Pezic, and just wide. The game is over tonight in Buffalo.
Yeah, they're all looking for Emerson Edom. You got the feeling.
Yeah, they were.
So the Ducks get it done. Boy, they picked it up from the moment that the Sabres took the lead 1-0 in this game. It's almost like Anaheim said, enough is enough, and they turned it on. And for the remaining 40 minutes, just a wonderful game for them. They score 6 goals in the final 40 and end up cruising to a 6-3 win over the Sabres.
2 goals each for Corey Perry and Emerson Edom, and Anaheim now has a winning road trip wrapped up. A chance for a great road trip as they'll finish up in New York in 2 nights. Our final score, the Ducks 6, Buffalo 3. Ducks Live is next.